Hey, this is Steven. I'm co-owner and head of the string department here at CIOMIT. Today we're going to go through some tips and tricks just to keep your violin healthy and keep it out of the shop. Really, any of these tips, they'll apply to any orchestral strings, so you're looking at the violin, viola, cello, or bass, an upright bass. So first thing you're going to do when you get done playing it, you're going to take a soft cloth, whether that be microfiber or a cotton. You're going to take it and you're going to give it a quick wipe down to get any rosin or fingerprints that you might have left. And that's going to be a really quick way to just keep it nice and clean. And then another thing you can do is use something like a super sensitive polish, kind of like this one. And basically what you're going to do is you're going to take this and directly on the cloth, you're going to apply some of this polish. You don't need a lot, especially if you're keeping up with this, and you can only do it, or you can do it every few weeks or a couple weeks. It just depends on how dirty it gets when you play. And you're going to take that, and now you're going to kind of rub that in with some circular motions, and you're going to be sure to get on them on both sides. And you're going to clean this up. And another thing you can do, and what I like to do, is you can slide that cloth underneath the fingerboard here, and then you can use a little bit of leverage and you can clean under there for a violin or a viola. Obviously on a cello or an upright bass, it doesn't take this much effort, but you can do that and make sure you get next to the bridge. You do the same thing just under that tailpiece, and you can get a little bit underneath the chin rest there. So you're going to get that nice and clean, and then you're going to do the same thing on the back and sides. Okay, so just those circular motions. You're just rubbing that nice polish in. This is going to shine it up. It's going to have a nice protective layer. You can do the same on the sides. Now while you're doing this, what you can do is you can look, and you're going to be looking at this back and top, and you're going to look and see, and you just want to make sure that there's no cracks in there. You want to make sure there's no cracks forming underneath the bridge, which is really common, and really and underneath that tailpiece, and you just don't see them most of the time. So you can look underneath there and you'll see a crack or anything like that. That's something you can bring in here or and get repaired. And then the other thing you're doing is you can look here at these seams, and you want to make sure none of these are coming apart. Okay, you don't want those bouts to separate, and the faster you get to those, the better we can seal those up. Okay, so you're just going to finish wiping this down. There you go. Now another thing you're going to do is you're going to take this, and when you're looking at your bridge, you want to make sure that your bridge stays healthy, because that's what's transferring the vibration of the strings through the sound post into the violin. So what you want to see is when you're looking at this, when it's flat like this, see how this bridge is just pitched forward just a tiny bit? What you want is you want that bridge to be either straight 90-degree angle or just even leaning back just ever so slightly. So what you're going to do, since this is already leaning forward, I kind of prop that against myself, and I take my hands, and I want to have points of contact here so I can control what I do. And then I'm going to take my fingers, and I'm just going to gently push back on that bridge, and it's just going to move a little bit. You can do little movements, and you want to check it as you go. So that's almost there. And if the feet are fit right, they should be completely flat against that top of the violin when this is perfect. And so now I've got that straight up and down, and now you're going to have a better transfer of sound, and you're also not going to have the bridge fall over on you when you're playing or tuning. Okay? So those are some simple things you can do to keep your violin working and avoid some maintenance costs. You're going to take your bow. The best thing you're going to do is it's obviously tight when you're playing, and then you're going to take it out. You can wipe any rosin off the actual wood, the stick of the bow. And then what you're going to do is you can make sure that your hair is staying healthy. Then basically what you're going to do before you put it back in your case, you're going to loosen it up. You just want to make sure that's loose before you put that in case, and that's going to keep the hair healthy and keep your bow in good condition for you to play for a long time. So another thing you need to know when you're looking at your bow is when you have it all the way loose, if your hair is hanging this low
Another thing you need to know when you're looking at your bow, your hair is hanging low.
Ow.
If your hair is hanging this low like it is on this bow, see how it's hanging below that stick? It really needs a rehair at this point. The other thing, what you're looking for, what it should be just barely touching the stick when it's all the way loose. So, if you see that, that's something you can bring in here, or something you need to think about. You need to be getting that bow rehaired. So, yeah, so these are just some simple tips, some simple things to keep your violin and bow healthy. And like I said, keep it healthy. It's going to play long. It's going to play better for you. And anytime you guys have any major repairs, then you can bring it to us. But that'll help you avoid some of the more simple stuff.